Again.
Alrighty then. We'll be discussing Charakaraka and Stirakaraka. Jaimini has some nice slides under this. We should be studying. Who is the Atmakaraka? The Atmakaraka is Atma.
Atma, yes.
Atma. Okay. What's the difference between the sun and the Atmakaraka in your chart? There's a difference.
Natural one and
One
this
is
is
natural,
personal
one
one.
is personal. What's the difference between natural and personal?
Natural refers
Surya
to
is Sarva Atma.
Naisargika or to God or to Kalpurusha or...
The Atmakaraka is not your soul, it is your spirit.
Oh,
What is spirit? The
it's
spirit
individual soul.
is that which is the union of the soul and the mind. When the two come together, that is Atmakaraka. Now, I thought you had classes on it. You've heard about Atmakaraka before, right? You sure? Okay.
Yeah, but it's not in that way.
So, it is when these two, soul and mind, merge, they become Charatmakaraka. That is the spirit of the person. The sun is the soul. Charatmakaraka is the spirit. Okay? When these various portions of ourself, the soul, mind and body, when they unite in different ways, it causes different aspects of the chart to manifest. Like when Lagna and Moon come together, it causes Aruda Lagna. When soul and mind come together, it causes Atmakaraka. Okay? I haven't heard of anything between soul and Lagna. We'll get back to that. Yeah, it's a good idea. We'll get back to that now. What else? It's important to understand that the Atmakaraka, Shara Atmakaraka, is who we believe we are. It's our conception of ourselves. Mind was born at some point in the womb of your mother, and it started looking at the soul, and that looking at the soul, it caused a new conception of self. And that conception of self, its idea of who it is who you think you are in this world. That Atmakaraka, that Charatmakaraka, is filtering input from the soul. It's like this. Mind looks at the soul, it sees something. It doesn't know what to do with it, honestly. It really doesn't. It's information. And it thinks, oh, I don't like heights. Because the Atma is saying, heights means death. Imagine that equation. Atma is saying height means death. Mind says, oh, that means I don't like heights. I'm scared of heights. Until one day when somebody tells you, you died in your past life from falling from a height. That's why you're scared of heights. But mind could not digest that information to understand that's why it's scared of heights. Okay? That's what's happening. Soul and mind are interacting. Usually mind is just looking at the soul and the soul is giving back information. Soul is free. He says, yeah, take it. Look at this, look at that. Important information. And the mind is making, oh, I don't like this, I like that. Oh, this is good, this is bad. It makes all these ideas in the head. Atmakaraka is defining our individuality based on this union, this information, which is being shared.
So what is the soul in this story? What signifies the
Sun
soul?
is the true soul. That's
Then
the
the aditya is important.
next class. Okay. Now this soul that we're speaking of, which is the sun in your chart, is trapped under some 5 layers, which we call kosha. And we have to describe that in a bit more detail soon. Three types of karaka. Karaka means something which does, or a doer, as used in the Pachakari relationships. Have you heard of Pachakari Sambandha? You studied it maybe a little bit? Okay. If not, make a note. Pachakari Sambandha, must study. Yes. Where the relationship between planets based on their placement and nature is considered. Pachakari is based on that. However, a more prominent use of the word karaka is as a significator, a producer, or a controller. And the distinction here is, in Pachakari Sambandha, means, there is something called karaka. We also have something called karaka in this context. In fact, they have the same purpose, where in Pachakari Sambandha, karaka means somebody who will do something for somebody else. Okay? Like, let's say Vishti is indicated by the sun. Vishti has sun in Lagna. Who's going to be the person who does something for him? Jupiter is the one who does all the work for the sun in Pachakali Sambandha. So Jupiter, which is Vishti's fifth lord, joined Mercury, is going to be the one who does all the work for Vishti. Okay? So like that, Karaka means that. In this context that we are talking of as Naisargika Karaka, or any Karaka for that matter, whether it be Naisargika Stira or Chara, it is something which is doing on behalf of somebody else. Chara Atma Karaka is the Graha who is acting on behalf of your spirit. Sun is the Karaka acting on behalf of your soul. So all these Grahas are basically just Karaka. Can you say Rahu is my soul or spirit? No, it's not. But the Graha is acting on behalf of him. Okay? To show you what is happening in the world. The nature of the Atman, in its truest sense, is spiritual and is like a spark of light, thinner than the thinnest hair and smaller than the smallest fraction. So it sits here. It's not a Graha. But the Graha will act on its behalf. Naisargika Atmakaraka. Here's the distinction then. Part of nature or God. Stira Atmakaraka. Have you ever heard that term before? Yeah. Individual being having form. Charatmakaraka, soul and 8 types of bondages. Atma can mean self. So, this Stiratmakaraka is your body, because that you define as yourself. It's not soul. Okay? See, as you know that this Charatmakaraka fellow is not exactly your soul, you have now come to the realization that this fellow is a bit of a mischief maker in your chart. Because obviously if he's not your soul and he's doing something else, he's not representing your soul properly, maybe. Right? Right. So, knowing this, in truth what is happening is, the Charatmakaraka is that aspect of the mind which is eclipsed your soul. Like a Graha does Grahana on something. So the mind has caused eclipse of the soul. And the Graha who is representing this is the Atmakaraka, Charatmakaraka. So Charatmakaraka is your mind's eclipse of your soul. Okay. Obviously that means it needs correction. We need to correct the problem in it. Right? Everybody was happy to have an Atmakaraka until they heard this, right? So we need to correct it. How to correct the Atma? We have to go to Atma Tattva. There are 5 bijas, Tattva bijas, and these bijas correct the Atma. These bijas are Prithvi Tattva. Let's say you have Prithvi Atmakaraka, like Mercury Atmakaraka, yes? Or Atmakaraka, or let's say Karakamsa to be exact, is in a Prithvi sign, like early sign.
I installed for the signs in their tattva.
You can do both.
No, sure.
I said that, didn't I?
Yeah, you
Tattva of the sign or the Graha itself. So either the two, either Mercury Atmakaraka or Atmakaraka in a Prithvi sign in Navamsha. What's the bija? Lam, eh? No. Shri. Write down Shri.
It's Prithvi Bija.
for this purpose of reason. This is weird to be.
The same Karaka planet or the same Karaka Mercury or Prithvi the sign?
Yes. In
Yes.
Navamsha.
In
Yes. Either Atmakaraka is a Prithvi Graha or Atmakaraka is in a Prithvi Navamsha. That's it. Well, let us say it is a Jalagraha. If you have Moon or Venus as Atmakaraka, or your Atmakaraka is in a Jalanavamsha, you will do Hari.
Just a Question: how do you define tattva
Shri
rashi
format?
based on Lord?
Sign.
Sign.
Shala.
There'll be 4 tattvas in
Shri.
Navamsha.
Prithvi.
Based on the soul. Jala Kona, Agni Kona, Prithvi
The
Kona.
last song.
Mhm.
Hri.
Hri.
Are we looking from Rasa?
Navamsha.
Navamsha.
Navamsha sign only.
Oh, he was good for this.
Yeah, you like Hreem now? It's
Yeah,
good,
I
Bija.
do. I do. It's just that,
Yeah. So, one of those Wundar Bijas.
Yeah, you say total.
Shri.
Shreem is for Prithvi. Hreem is for Jala. For Agni we do clean. Clean Agni.
This is if it is in Karakamsha is in Agni sign.
Yes? Or you have Atmakaraka being Sun or Mars.
Then a confusion arises, doesn't it?
Why?
Because then it'll say you have Surya Atmakaraka in a Prithvi sign in
Yes. You have to choose which to correct. I'll tell you which to correct. So,
Okay, so confusion gone.
so reason for confusion also. Good reason for confusion.
Temporary confusion gone.
Oh, we'll see. Okay. Okay. Well, if you have Jupiter Atmakaraka, now obviously there's no Akashamsa. There's no Akasha Navamsa, right? No. So this is only for Jupiter Atmakaraka, the special privileged ones. Bleem, Bleem, P, Bleem, P-L, long I-M. Bleem. Privileged
but
ones.
it's from right.
Is when Jupiter is Shala and
If Jupiter's Atmakaraka.
Jupiter's
That's it.
That's
That's
it.
Only reason.
We need Vayu.
Dleem, D-H-L, long I-M. This for Vayu. It means either Shani or Rahu as
Dleem.
Atmakaraka or Atmakaraka in a Vayu Navamsha. Dleem.
Shani Rahu.
Yes.
DLI.
TL long I-M.
D-H-L, long I-M.
Okay.
Dleem.
or
Dleem.
in Navamsa Aries.
Vayu.
Vayu.
For example, Mars Atmakarak in Vayu.
Yeah, we have to decide now. Dennis asked me the question. Now we'll decide. Which do you want to correct? The Atmakaraka Graha you have, right?
Yeah.
It's in a Navamsha. Of course. That Navamsha sign, it's
This is
loaded.
Everyone except Guru Atmakaraka.
I'll give you an example. Let's say you have Jupiter Atmakaraka. Let's say it's in Gemini Navamsha. Okay? Gemini Navamsha. Then it means in your next life you will have Buddha Atmakaraka. Why? Because the Lord of your Navamsha shows what karma you're doing in this life. And the Atmakaraka Graha shows what karma you have done in last life.
What if a planet conjoins the Atmakaraka and the
It'll
Vamsha?
color a little bit, but don't use that. The Graha, which is Atmakaraka, shows what you have done in last life to be born in this life.
Atmakaraka of
Graha.
Graha.
Atmakaraka Graha.
Shows exactly or the opposite of
What you did in last
what
life.
it did. Okay.
Can you give
What
me?
soul level connect issues you manifested in last life. What is wrong with your soul since last life is your Atmakaraka.
So what if you're born Rahu
What is
Atmakaraka?
wrong?
What is wrong? Yes. Okay? Like Jupiter Atmakaraka, you believed you were God in last life.
Yes.
So there's a big problem. If you keep going around playing God with everybody, then soon you'll be punished. Okay? Rahu Atmakaraka, you cheated everybody. One by one. Or even better, discrimination. Haha, you live so far from the temple of Jagannath, so that means you should not learn the Vedas. You know? Go learn Quran or Bible, something else. Discrimination. See? Or Mars Atmakaraka. You beat up everybody you could find in last life. Mars Atmakaraka. So you see, that's a problem from last life. And in this life, you're digesting that problem, like, oh my God, what did I do in my last life? Every day you're thinking about it. That's Atmakaraka.
But Dudiji, why do they say then, I've heard that Rahu Atmakaraka, or if it's really malefic, the more malefic the planet is, there's a chance that the person could be really spiritual.
Yes. Do you know why? Because they cannot cheat
Yes,
one
yes,
person
yes.
in this life.
Sorry?
They cannot cheat one person in this life. And they'll be cheated by everybody. Okay? As a result of which, they'll either become the biggest crooks or the biggest criminals. They have a choice. One or the other.
No, the biggest saint or the biggest criminal?
Saint or sinner.
You said the
Oh, did I
biggest-
say crooks or criminals?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's not really a choice. That's
I have a big problem there. No. Saints or sinners?
that's Rahu Atmakaraka speaking. Isn't it?
What a misunderstanding. There must be some Prithvi Amsa or something. Anyway, saints or sinners? Okay?
Still, I don't understand. Jupiter Atmakarak believe God's in previous life.
Believe
Yeah.
you are God in last life.
I am God.
Ah, is the problem now?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Rahu
Okay.
Atmakaraka.
Why they believe that?
Yes.
Because Jupiter is Akash, he's Shiva, he's everything. So you believe you're that Akash in last life. Is the problem? Like those people who go on stage and say, I am God, I am this. They do that. Some people like, some people, I'm an incarnation of God, I'm Avatar. They do that, some people.
All of the Jupiter Atmakarak.
No, do in less extent each time, you know. Some more, some less.
Does the strength of this planet shows something else about the state of the soul or past karma or something?
Yeah,
like
yeah. The
Jupiter
stronger it is, the more
exalted or-
closer you are to know that you did it.
Aha.
The weaker it is, the more ignorant you are about it. That's the difference.
Venus?
Venus.
Relationship?
Yes.
What kind?
Purity.
Purity.
The person was not thinking enough about purity. So they had
Too
too
much
much
intimate.
impurity.
Too much intimate relationship.
Now comes the fun part. See, I don't have to give you all the graphs. I'm sure you'll figure it out. Okay? The Navamsa sign indicates what mistakes you'll do in this life.
Sorry? What no?
The Navamsa sign of Atmakaraka indicates what mistakes you are prone to do in this life.
Oh, that's a slight shift from what you said before, Guruji.
Saying that it might be the Atmakaraka
Is
in the
it?
next life.
What you're
Lord.
destined to do, you said, and then you said prone afterwards. So are you destined to do it or you're prone to do
A
it?
bit of both, honestly. Depends on planetary placement.
But you can correct it using these speeches.
That is why the rishis, they don't talk about your Atmakaraka graph. They only talk about which sign it's in. They said, okay, enough with last life. Correct this life. Lest you should have the same in next life.
So that answers the question. Better correct in Navamsh than in
You
Raj.
can, yes. You have a choice. What's a bigger problem for you?
But I'd rather end it here and now instead of suffering in next life as well.
Excuse. Good excuse. Do that.
But how can we interpret it? The Rossis,
Who's the Lord?
Mercury, for example.
Let's do it this way. If Mercury is the Lord, yes. Then it means that in the last life, if it was Mercury Atmakaraka,
No, Jupiter Atmakarak.
I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
I'm going to give you an example. If let's say Mercury is the Lord, right?
Mhm.
So that means in last life, if it was Mercury Atmakaraka, then what would happen is the person would constantly be writing wrong things to people. With miscommunication, cheating people in business deals. Not anything, just business. Okay?
I didn't know that.
But Atmakarak,
So in this life, you're prone to do the same.
Atmakarak in Mercury sign.
Yes.
Not
So in
Atmakarak.
last life, if it's Mercury Atmakaraka, you did it in last life. If it's in Mercury sign, you'll do it in this life. That's the difference. Communication is very important. Okay?
If it is the same Atmakaraka in the sign, that you're going to
Right,
continue.
Then you are still dealing
You're
with the same
cheating
issue.
people.
Then it's the same issue still. You're not changing. It's the same problem. Good. Solve one problem, solve the other also.
This is a real problem for reborn.
Yes, you surely have an Atmakaraka. So that means you must be reborn.
You're reborn for this.
Yes. That is why.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the sign placement of the Atmakaraka, we did not discuss that.
I'm in Rashi. But we did it now, actually, just now.
Okay, it went over my head. I apologize and I'll ask you in the break.
Did you all catch it though? the Navamsha sign of the Atmakaraka, its Lord shows what could be Atmakaraka in next life.
Yeah.
And it's based on that you will do those actions in this life, so you'll get that land in next life. So whatever was applied to last life for the Grahas, imagine that is applied to this life for the Lord of Atmakaraka Navamsha. Imagine that.
So that means if it's in a Prithvi sign, you'll cheat people in this life, and therefore you'll have Mercury as Atmakaraka in next life.
If it's a mercurial sign, yes.
Yes.
Yes. It need not be mercurial sign, it's pretty Russian. But yes. Kanya is Prithvi, but Taurus is not. It's ruled by Venus. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. But we're still correcting the Tattva. Because this is Atma Tattva. We're dealing with Atma Tattva.
Okay.
And that goes on for all the Dharakarakas, Pitikarakas in the same system.
I'll start with your own soul, then we'll talk about others. But yes, it's the same thing. Good, good. Next slide.
So next life.
Next life. Yes.
So what is the next conclusion to choosing the Shrim, Hrim or Kli?
You decide. He said it's better to correct this life. Forget last life. I will say I want to do both.
Both.
Okay.
Two.
I would like to change both because
2 beaches.
Huh?
Two
Yeah,
beaches.
2 beaches then. Yes, one at a time.
No, yeah, I think I was misunderstood then. I said better than to correct it here and now rather than take it to next life.
Oh yeah, yeah. Say fine, fine. Either you're choosing one or the other. Choose one. Start with one step. Do the other. You know, like if you feel you're being deceived a lot by people, oh boy, better start Rahu Atmakaraka Bija. Which one is that? Vayu Bija. Okay, Dalim, 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 Dalim. Get over it. Okay.
And that doing mantra for that bija that corrects the last life. For instance, if you're doing for the Rashi of that.
For Atmakaraka itself is last life. For Navamsha of Atmakaraka is this life.
Okay. Okay.
Sign is what you're doing with the resources. Graha is what you're carrying.
That is why Atmakaraka in pieces give moksha. Because
Yes, it can.
should be there.
Yes, exactly. Or not so extramarital affairs.
Parasa and jaimini said
Which is
It
simple.
can. I swear it can.
Can you
The
give
Java
both?
people-
One at a time.
Yeah. Now, there's some principles, you know, like if Atmakaraka is in Jupiter's Navamsha, regardless of which Atmakaraka it is. In fact, this will teach it later. Then Jupiter's story is what you will have. What did Jupiter do? He left his wife, okay, and in leaving his wife, he went and had an affair with his brother's wife. And then the moon god came over and kidnapped his wife. So what happens? You leave your wife and your wife leaves you. Maybe forcefully, maybe by decision. So that's a problem. You know what these people will do? They'll often go on long trips away from their wife for some reason. They'll just leave, go somewhere. Jupiter Amsa. Oh, Minamsa is moksha. Moksha. Mukti from your wife.
Maybe the feeling of being away from her gives
Leaving
you
away
some
all the time.
feeling of
Traveling to
relief.
this country, going here, visiting that person, wife is alone at home all the time. They do this. They don't know why, they just do it. Yeah. They always,
Yeah, I have it in Jupiter.
what do you have?
I have Atmakaraka and Jupiter, Samsha.
Yeah.
In Meena.
Oh boy, that guy is really, anyway.
Poor guy, you haven't even met him yet, and we're gossiping about him.
So like this, there are these small things. You know, for every
Yesterday
Atmakaraka
he's a
in
great
this-
gun. Today he's a
Atmakaraka
poor
Meenam
guy.
says good, but you can
For-
see Jupiter problem.
Depends for a while.
Yeah.
So you can make some clear indications. Like there's certain amshas, they're bad for marriage. Those Atmakaraka and any Navamsha. Certain are bad, some are good. Some are very good.
It's a good amsha except for marriage.
Jupiter amsha. Yeah. All right.
Yes.
To talk a bit more about Sun and Sarvatma and Atmakaraka. The Sun is Sarvatma, or the soul of all, and this is its natural signification. Agni, the Adi Devata of the Sun, gives the Atma Prabodhana. or cognition of the soul, or Supreme Spirit. And Atma Bodha, or knowledge, illumination, enlightenment of the soul or Supreme Spirit. Now, this is to say that Agni is the one responsible for you knowing your own soul. He's responsible for that. Okay? It doesn't mean you must all worship Agni. It means it can happen through some other means. You're doing some mantra, and Agni says, okay, now I'm going to ensure that you become understanding of your soul. It also means you should study Agni more carefully to understand him, so that this becomes a natural part of your seeking your soul. Okay? Study. It's good for you to study. Maybe you'll find you can add a little bit of Agni to your mantra, then everything is alright. Now, this is the nature of the soul, like a tiny spark of light residing in the 8-petal heart lotus. I thought heart lotus was 12-petal. Okay, we'll talk about it again later. Now, the Pratyadi Devata of the sun, that is Lord Shiva, the Atmeshwara, also called Maheshwara, or the Lord of the self, or soul, is responsible for delivering the individual soul. He causes Atma Suddhi, or purification of the soul. Do you see these various levels? We're talking about sun, then we talked about Agni, then we talked about Shiva. You've heard, sun is Shiva, sun is Agni. These are the various ways in which we are understanding the soul, and which devatas are going to enlighten us about our soul. And these are real functions. We'll look at a chart and we'll see there's a graha called Maheshwara graha. And you have to learn how to activate it so that this process can happen. Alright? Okay. Any questions about this? 8-petal lotus? Okay, there's an 8-petal lotus inside the 12-petal lotus. All chakras have an 8-petal lotus inside. Just so you know. Naisargika Karaka. What is Naisargika Karaka? It indicates natural attributes, like signification of natural events and traits. Venus indicates marriage. That's what it means. Mercury indicates education and work. Such a signification causes it to be called Naisargika Karaka, or natural significator. Example, moon rules the manas and becomes the natural significator for family, society, or any social organization, as well as the mind. There are 9 Naisargika Karakas, and this means it includes all the 9 grahas. If you want to add Pluto, Uranus, or whichever graha, you have to start figuring out which Karakas they're going to indicate. Keep that in mind. Think about that.
Kendi etten.
I don't know where. Karaka for what? Right? Karaka for what? Exactly. What do they do with the chant? They're just hovering around like some satellite. Really, we have all the Karakas covered. What are we going to do with them? Right? We'll discuss that again. Stira Karaka. So we discussed Naisargika shortly, and remember yesterday we did all this Bhava Karaka thing to see events in a person's life. Okay. So Stira Karaka. Stira Karakas are those grahas which have the ability to signify the tattva, whereby they decide the body state, the Stira Karaka, or fixed significator. They describe the body, what's going on in the body. And whose body? Your body, father's body, mother's body, brother's body, wife's body, husband's body. There's a distinction. It's not the same. Wife's body and husband's body are not the same. So if you have both a husband and a wife, you can actually tell the difference. Okay? Besides the confusion that's obvious in that. The 7 planets from the Sun to Saturn, excluding the shadowy Rahu and Ketu, are the Stira Karaka. Because they have bodies. We were talking about bodies, so we have to talk about 7 grahas, not 9. Stira Karaka are used for longevity or survival of the physical body, and the nodes, which are mathematical points in space without physical bodies, cannot represent physical body. Yeah. This concept is used in Ayur Jyotish and is sometimes extended to Vimshottari Dasha as well, when used to time sorrow, death, and ill health of such relatives. 7 lokas reflect into the body as the 7 primary chakra.
Which one is it then you don't use?
What?
Oh, okay, sorry, because you mentioned one yesterday that's outside the body.
Yes, 2.
2. And those you don't
Intermediate
use.
ones, yes.
Okay.
So then?
Those are the ones you don't count as
Yes. 7 main lokas. Take. Now an example. Where will I see mother's body? Which graha?
Moon.
Moon. But that moon is you. So we must see 4th from moon for mother's body. Sun for father.
No.
Nice.
9th from sun for father. 9th from Venus.
I wanted to ask you that.
Or
Manga
fathers.
Venus, manga
Mm.
for-
Depends.
What? Sorry?
Father again, it's possible.
It's possible, why?
Yes, it's the sun on Venus is the
I
father.
bought stira karakas for father.
Oh, so-
Good. That's what I wanted to hear. Good. So both moon and Mars can indicate mother,
Mother,
Mm.
yeah.
and 4th from moon or Mars can indicate mother's body.
Mm.
Good. Excellent. This is easy for me now.
How do you decide between them?
We need a sign.
No,
Either
we'll
side.
decide when we get to that. Yeah.
One or
It depends on day birth or night birth.
It
doesn't
depends more on the graha itself. When we talk about Ayush and Stira Karaka, it's the graha itself. Day-night birth is an entirely different concept, which is still applying to Naisargya Karaka. Yeah. But good question. Now, clarify. That's Naisargika is talking of.
yes.
So, 4th from moon shows first mother, right? You can have second mother, can you?
Stepmother.
Stepmother?
Mhm.
So that's where?
Hey.
4th from 4th. Maybe. What do you say?
If the other mother's
Was
still
that
alive.
mother's mother?
No,
No.
Not mother's mother.
Yeah, if you
No.
4th from
Is it
4th,
mother's mother is-
yeah, then more mother's mother will be 4th
Exactly.
from there.
Exactly. That's possible.
But we
Oh.
have D12.
It's not mother's mother, it's another mother.
There's another mother. So how do we see another mother?
8 from whatever, from moon or from 4 from moon.
So first mother must die before you can have another mother. That's terrible.
No.
No?
3rd from 4th.
Okay, so we'll do Manduka Gati.
No.
It's like Manduka Gati means another mother was created for you.
Yeah.
So first you were born, then you got another mother who was younger than you. You see the problem?
Yeah.
Arguing. It's good. Say that, then we'll clarify. It's good.
So how?
4th from 4th. 7th from
But,
Yeah, because if my
What
mother
is
is
that?
But my grandmother also had her mother, and if you go
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah, but all maternal relatives are seen from Venus, and all paternal are seen from Jupiter.
okay.
So my grandmother, mother's mother, will be seen from 7th from Venus, for example.
But why 7?
4th from 4th.
Same as your husband, so your husband
So you
might
don't
look
use-
like your
just-
grandmother.
Excuse me, just a moment, sorry. So
Yeah,
do you see
that's-
7th from
that's-
Chandra or 7th from 4th Bhava? I don't understand.
You have to see 7th. You see, the problem is with mother. Okay? That for mom, she has already got some parents, and those parents are not even seen from moon. They're seen from Venus.
Okay.
So then Venus decides. So what should it be? 7th from Venus?
Why 7th from Venus?
Because 4th from 4th. Huh?
So,
7th from Venus?
I don't understand 4th from 4th rule.
Oh, mother's mother. I have a mom. That's
That-
4th house.
Hey, hang
My
on,
mom's
sir.
mom is 4th.
hang on,
fourth
then
house.
then
Okay,
you
that's
just
a
told
grand-
us we can't see 4th from moon to see mother.
No.
Because if you see 7th from Venus, then it's
Mother's
4th
mother.
from Venus will be my mother, and
Yes.
4th from there will be her mother.
Good.
Mm.
But Venus is supposed to show maternal parents, grandparents. So I cannot see my mother's mother from 7th from moon.
So you can see what mother's from there. I'm
Okay, you're
confused
just-
now again.
Guys, think a little bit. I have a proposition. How about 7th from Venus? For mother's mother.
Okay, then 4th from Chandra is our mother.
Yes.
Cannot
Then
be-
what is 4th from Shukra then?
Huh?
What is 4th from Shukra then?
Please examine my argument about 7th from Venus for mother's mother.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yes.
Why?
4th
Why
from
is it
4th.
okay?
4th from 4th, right? Yeah.
From Venus.
Yes.
from
That's
Venus.
good.
He said.
I said so, therefore it's correct.
Yes.
Oh.
No, because you might not say, you might say something wrong just to make, to test us.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I think you're doing.
How? Okay. You have to still give me an argument against, otherwise you have to go. You have to accept it.
Because if I see my own mother fourth from my own moon,
Yes. Yes.
and not just the moon,
Yes.
but fourth from there, then I should be able to treat moon as fourth from moon as my mother. And since I went 4 steps out to see her, I should go from her 4 steps out to see her mother.
All right. But the problem is, Jaimini says, we'll see a sutra soon, that Venus is showing all maternal grandparents.
But not 7th from it.
Okay, then why not?
I don't know. Just Venus. Its position, not 7th from Venus.
Why not Central Venus?
Because, I don't know, it is used in some other things.
What is useful?
For spouse.
Yes. See, that's the argument I want. How can you see maternal grandmother from 7th from Venus and your spouse from 7th from Venus?
So your spouse will look like maternal
It's not possible, right? That's what you should tell me. Come on, 7th from Venus. Guys, come on. We've been talking for so long about 7th from Venus showing relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah? Bringing your first spouse and everything. You're right, Agnya. So then what do we do?
We discard 7 from Venus.
4th from Venus. 4th
Fourth
from
from
Venus
Venus.
is maternal grandmother. 9th through Venus is maternal grandfather.
Ah, okay. And if what if we wanna go 1 step further back? Can we treat that as the local point to go further
We
back?
have 3 generations to look at. There's a restriction.
Ourselves, our parents, and
Yes.
parents' parents.
No children.
Huh?
Children also. Our children.
So it would be
Those are the 3.
our children, our parents, our
And
parents'
us.
parents. So you cannot go further back than 9th from Venus to see
Not
my
with these
mom.
characters. Not with these characters. We can with other systems, but not with characters.
What do you mean 3 generation? Mother?
Parents, self, children.
4
What about
from
the
Venus,
grandmothers?
abuela.
That's parents. Oh no, grandmothers. Yes, but then we have also 4 generations, right? Okay.
No?
Here we do. We just had parents and grandparents.
Yes?
4
Yes.
generations, yes, that's right.
No,
Yes.
because then I don't regard myself.
Okay, then it's 3
Then it's
generations
3
excluding
generations.
you.
Excluding me because I'm myself. I mean,
What
We
about
go
the
to
division charts? Parents
D12?
charts? Yes. You can see all the lineage.
We cannot see beyond grandparents' parents. We cannot see them. We can see grandparents in D12. If we have to see beyond that, we have to see D40 and D45. And then we're just looking at karma truly. We can see who did what, but it's karma.
Yes.
Another question, if it is according to Sira Karaka, father is sun on Venus, mother is moon on Mars.
No, mother is...
yes, it's true.
Yes, he's right. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Then Venus is also used for the maternal
Yes. Yes.
ancestors.
Correct. It can be used for both. That's the only place we'll find a mix. And if we find a mix, we have exceptions. I'll show you exceptions later. Good. Good, Agni. Yes,
Yeah,
everyone
it's a
who is
little
awake
bit-
here in this class.
No, I think everybody knows
He's
this,
the only
but
one who didn't smoke.
you are trying to confuse us, and you're doing that pretty good.
He's the only
I
one
must
that's
say.
Told you.
He's the only one not falling for your game.
Huh? Yes.
Yes.
Good. Good.
He's got Rakmin Lagla, he knows what it is.
Oh my god. He's smart, let's just put it like that.
Okay. Now, with these karakas, you can see a lot. You can time events. For example, 7th from Venus is supposed to bring your spouse. 2nd house from Venus will bring your 2nd spouse. 9th house from Venus will bring 3rd spouse. So you can keep counting like that. And then we have another dilemma, right? But it works. It really works.
What do you mean bringing?
That graha is responsible for bringing that person into your life.
So there should be some also in Shottari Dasha.
We use this with Vimshotri Dasha. Very accurately.
Sagittarius is for Upapadas.
Which?
Third wife will be like my
Sagittarius is for Upapadas, for the...
grandfather.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can see every 6th also.
Will be old as my grandfather. Huh?
You can see every 6th also.
Oh, nice.
Look like it.
Yeah.
Every sixth.
Yeah. Like you can see 7th from Venus for first spouse, and you can see 12th from Venus for second spouse. You can.
But you decide if you will reverse.
Obviously, you know, it depends. Is it monogamy or polygamy?
I
If
don't
it's
know.
Monogamy is
then
a
eight.
Polygamy is
every
definitely
6.
the way to go.
Okay.
You have to know the difference. Some people guy will say, yeah, that's my first spouse, and that's my second spouse. He said, so you divorced? No.
So it actually makes a 1.1 and not the second one.
Okay. Atmadika,
Atmadika,
Kaladi,
Kaladi,
Birna Boga,
Birna Boga,
Saptanama,
Saptanama,
Ashtamanyam,
Ashtamanyam,
Va.
Va.
That Va is so
There's a
beautiful.
continuation.
And maybe he does that as best. You know? I'm sorry?
There is probably continuation of that shloka.
No, it ends here.
See two dots.
Yes, yes. Okay. The planet with the highest longitude in degrees and minutes. He's been specific to indicate that among the 7 or 8 planet schemes is the king and soul, or Atmakaraka. In 7 or 8, he said both. Saptanama Ashtamanyam va. Either of the two, 7 or 8. Jaimini says you can use either. We have to decide when to use either. We'll decide that later. Okay? But it's quite clear. The planet with highest degrees or minutes, if there are 2 planets at the same degrees, is the Atmakara. If same minutes, seconds. Okay. Now, when he mentions this, he does this also in a specific context. Jaimini is going to be the one who really pushes this agenda of Atmakaraka and Charakarakas on you. Because you must admit one thing. The connections you have with people are first and foremost through your own soul. They happen through your soul. Okay? So also, we should decide those events which are pertaining to those people in our lives with the Charakarakas. Really is most important. Your Putra Karaka will indicate whether you will have children or not. Your Dara Karaka will indicate if you will marry or not. And your Amacha Karaka will indicate if you will have a job or not. It will decide. If they decide you won't, you won't. So when people go on the list and they write, oh, your 7th Lord is in this Navamsha, that's why you're not married. Look at Dara Karaka. It decides. That is your relationship with that soul. Most important. Soul level relationships come first. Everything else is second. Yes. An addition. Nigraha is your soul. For example, Atmakaraka is your soul. Darakaraka is your soul in relationships. The sign the Darakaraka is in is the other person's soul. So if Darakaraka is in Virgo,
You should ask
Virgo is that person's soul.
her
Your partner,
Atma,
your wife's soul.
her Atmakaraka, let's say.
Maybe it has a link. But that link means you are bound through that link. But it also tells you in your chart how your relationship with that person is. Okay.
I don't think I follow you.
What if it's Venus, Darakaraka and Virgo? Debilitated.
Mercury
Then what? Her
is-
soul is debilitated.
Then there's a problem because your soul is not feeling comfortable with that person. Right? The person is the sign, and that sign is debilitating your soul, which is your Darakaraka.
So the planet that is the significator. You look at that in that's placement in Rashi to see how that person is going to make you feel.
Rashi or Navamsha?
Rashi first. Can also use Navamsha.
Okay,
Rashi first.
I want to tell the entire world on recording. I got it.
We need to take the Karaka.
To anybody who will listen, who will
It's
listen to this
planet.
again.
It's the
wrong,
first
it's
time
very
today.
close group.
We need to take the Karaka of the planet of the, one example,
He uses Darakaraka.
yes.
Chara Darakaraka.
Is it for long life? Venus Darakaraka in Virgo. Whatever the person comes in my life,
All relationships.
all relationships.
Mm.
Very bad.
Well, we can get out of it. We can go as Nietzsche manga if it's Nietzsche. Eh?
Can you just repeat that? I want to write it down. So Darakaraka or any Karaka, when located in one Rashi, that Rashi symbolize what will give the
Other
soul of the another person,
Yes.
the type of soul of another person that you're gonna meet
Yes.
for that particular part of life.
Yes.
And how it's going to make you feel also.
More importantly, how it affects you.
For
Because the
example,
graha is you,
Mhm.
and the sign is that person.
And the placement from
For
Lagna.
Atma-
Their
Makara?
intimate relationship.
So if it is bad relationship, if
Between
there are
sign and
enemies,
planet.
debilitation, etc.,
Yes.
there are problems.
Yes.
but for
Who
Atma
know?
Karaka, how can
Who
we
is?
decide? Because it's
Atmakaraka.
me.
Yes, my own soul and my own relation with my own soul.
Yes.
And how it could affect
Yes.
me.
In the,
This decides if you're going to have Atma Gyana or not. I almost thought I could get around that one. You know? I thought you'd get distracted with Darakaraka.
And Tutushi, the
The
placement.
Atmakaraka strength indicates if you will be enlightened or not. Because that is the relationship you have with your own soul. Atmagyana is what? When you know your soul. Right? How will we decide if you know your own soul or not? How well is the Atmakaraka placed?
the sign, only sign.
Sign?
And the strength of it.
There's a few other things. Break. How much would I, when you leave me for second year, Jaimini,